Hi! In this video, we will take a closer look at indices, index patterns, mapping fields and field types. For OpenSearch, a document, being a simple JSON document, is the basic unit of data. It can look just like this, a simple JSON document. However, in order for data to be searched, it has to be indexed. You can either index a document via the index API or via the bulk API. Simple as that. You can create an index as detailed as you want and need. You may have noticed that our setup is a bit different in this video. This is because we are inside our instance via an SSH tunnel created through an application. If you want further details on this, please comment below and let us know. Now, going back to the index, you can specify just the index name without giving any more settings, as you can see in the command here. Please keep in mind that for security reasons and for the ease of this demo, we have already set our password, username, and host to an alias, so we can just directly input it. Now, let us create our first index. As you can see, we have already received an acknowledgement, meaning that our index was successfully created. We can now list the existing indexes. Why do I say the existing indexes? There are some default indexes that are created when an instance is, created as well. So, in order to list your indices, it's more or less the same curl command, except that this time we're not inputting anything, so we don't need to put, it's just a simple get, and instead of just slash your index name, it's slash underscore cat slash indices. As you can see, there are two indexes already. One of them is my index, which we created for the purpose of this video. The other one was automatically created when the instance was created. This index is the OpenDistro security index. This one is related to the security settings that we mentioned in the previous video. Well, this is just creating an index manually, but you can also rely on index patterns, or rather index templates, to create your indices. Index templates are quite useful for a quick and fast index creation by making a series of predefined mappings and settings. Set parameters can go from defining properties down to their type and format. When creating a pattern, the name you set for it will be part of any index created from it, meaning that if my pattern is my cool pattern, it will form part of the name of the index that will be created from it. Meaning, let's say you have a pattern called, as I said, my cool pattern, and you create an index called index1. The full name would be my cool pattern -index1. Now, we also mentioned mapping in this video. Well, mapping is similar to a schema, which kind of makes sense since a search engine is an information retrieval tool. So, why a schema? It's more in the sense that the fields and property are defined for an index, but then what are fields? Fields hold a specific bit of information from your document, namely name, size, text, and the field type is, well, the type of data contained in it. Name is text. Perhaps size might be an integer. Perhaps you have a Boolean number, so true or false. It all depends on the type of document and whatever information you're putting in there. As mentioned before, when you create an index, you can specify certain field types, or it will be automatically added by OpenSearch. This is known as dynamic mapping. Explicit mapping is quite the opposite. It's when you specify what data type your field requires. You may have noticed that at the beginning of the video, we just defined an index name and that was it. And we already had an index, but we have been talking about field types, the mapping, the settings. Well, these are part of the index as well, and you can define them when creating an index manually. You can see a comparison between both commands. They are basically the same thing, with the difference that one has a larger content Now, keep in mind that the any9 search automation does not interfere with any of the decision making. This falls solely on you as the application developer, as, well, you know your data best. Well, this was the final episode of our series, All You Need to Know About any9 Search. For more videos, be sure to check our channel, share your thoughts and questions on our social media networks, and, well, hopefully see you in another any9's video.